Hey everyone, Joey here, and today we're going to take a look at the 8bitdo 64 Bluetooth controller. I bought this like 8 or 9 months ago. It finally arrived yesterday, and I played all night playing some Nintendo 64 games, and so today we're going to take a look at it, let you know my thoughts, let you know about one weird issue in RetroArch that you should be aware of, and if it's worth your money. So let's talk about it. Okay, so first off, let's do a very quick unboxing, just so you know what it actually comes with and what's inside. And obviously you have the controller, of course, and it is in some packaging. They haven't done the rings around here like other companies usually do, but otherwise, nice controller. Yeah. Then we have a manual, of course, and it is a massive, man, I don't know why we do this still. Can we do like a QR code or something? It's just, this is too much. This is just way too much. But it tells you everything you need to know, so I guess it's good. I don't know. It's just way too much. And then we have a USB-C to A cable for charging and all that fun stuff, and for you to upgrade the firmware whenever it gets recognized on the PC. But enough about that. Let's take a look at the controller. And you can see here, we have our N64 layout. We have a very big B button, very big A button. We have a nice big size D-pad here. We have our C-pad, C buttons right over here. N64 stick with the, what is it? Not hexagonal. It's whatever that is. I failed grade school. But it does all of these movements, so we're good. We'll check this out in software. Then we have our L and R at the top. And we have our Z buttons, which you can map either of these to Z. I mostly use R2 as Z, but I do sometimes map both of them to Z. We have our USB-C pairing button. And then on the front, we have, I don't remember what this is, but we have select here. We have a big start button. We have this button here at least works in Steam for Bazzite. So you could use it as the Steam button, and it's just mapped instantly. And I think this is like a screenshot. I forget what this actually is. I never really use it. Lastly, we have our little switch on the back for D input and S input, mostly in D input for Windows, Linux, and PC, all that sort of thing. You would put it into S mode for Switch. Now I want to see how this compares to the original Nintendo 64 controller, which I have right here. I have it wireless. I did a 8bitdo mod for it, so it's a wireless one. But let's take a quick look. If we take a look at the D-pads, the original Nintendo 64 one is slightly bigger. But as far as feel goes, I'd say the 8bitdo is a little bit better. It's got a little bit more pivot. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Even. We'll put it even. Stick-wise, we have the original Nintendo 64 stick, which is usually pretty bad. I'm pretty sure this is the 8bitdo one that I replaced, so it's a little bit newer. You're obviously going to want the newer stick on the 8bitdo controller. Then we have our other buttons here. And as far as I can tell, this might be interesting. As far as I can tell, these are all the same size. I wonder if you could swap them. That'd be cool. But either way, you have A, B. B's got a lot more travel on the 8bitdo N64 controller here. But otherwise, size-wise, feels about the same. Just more travel. Then we have some sticky C buttons on the N64 controller. Yeah, just a little bit more travel on the 8bitdo version than the original. Obviously, the Z button's on the back of this, which makes things interesting when you're going to be using it here instead. But I played a bunch of games last night, didn't find it an issue. I actually like the positioning of where this is. So yeah, otherwise, you have two options for N64 on devices. I'm starting to really like this one though, from playing it all of last night. Now to pair it, you just turn the start button on, and then you would usually push the pairing button for a few seconds until this light at the bottom starts to go crazy. But I've already paired it. But I'm going to throw it in pairing mode anyways. I got to connect back to my Odin 2 portal here. And there we go. Yep, because I've already had it. And everything just works. Okay, so first thing I want to check is the gamepad tester. So you can see here it is doing the Nintendo 64 of locking to each of the directions. You can go anywhere you want. It's not snapping at all. So it's very good in that way. You really have a lot of control here. Otherwise, it's just the same N64 edges, I guess, if you want to call it. So yeah, no, this looks good. It's felt good so far in me playing it, but this. Easy, perfect. Now let me show you how to map this because it is a little confusing. If we jump into RetroArch, we go over to Input, RetroPad Binds, Port 1 Controls, and over here, I'm going to turn off analog to digital type. You have to make sure your device index is showing the 8bitdo's 64BT, which it is. And if you scroll down, all of these are pretty normal. You want to map the D-pads, obviously. The B button and A button, you can map. These buttons here, you want to try and remove. So watch, let's do this. Let's go all the way back. We're going to reset the default controls. And I'm going to do it. So up, down, left, right, B button is down, A button, there. So if you reset the default controls, or you might have it out of the box, if it says key A and key S, then you're good. Leave that there. Don't map those because you don't need those. Then we go select and start L, R, L2, R2, L3, which is going to send you all the way to the top for some reason. And we just map this is mostly done already. You can kind of see. And then as far as the right analog goes, this is where you want to use the C-pad buttons. So we're going to go up, down, left, right. Perfect. We've mapped everything. Now, just go all the way up and just go save controller profile. That way it's remembered. We want to back out, and what you want to do is go to hotkeys and set up your hotkeys. And for me, I'm going to use L3 as the hotkey enable button. This is important. So I'm going to show you what happens if you set this to a C-pad button, but you want to make sure that this is set to something else. Personally, I would probably use L2 and R2, but I want to show you what happens when it's mapped to a C-pad button. So we've done everything. Going to go make sure, save current configuration. Now let's just jump into a game. So I'm going to jump right into Banjo-Kazooie because I was playing it yesterday. Remember that menu toggle that we mapped? That's the problem there. So typically what happens when you do hotkeys, when you have a hotkey enable button like L3, is you want to push it, and then you push a button to do the hotkey. So L3 and R2 is my fast forward, all that sort of thing. Now, if I push R2 on its own, it's not fast forward. The problem is there is some sort of bug right now with this controller in RetroArch where it's just a single press if you set it to a C-pad button. So we have to go back out. And what you want to do is make sure that it is not set to a C-pad button. So I'm going to go over to hotkeys, going to go over to the menu toggle, and I'm going to put it as L2. So now when I push L3 and L2, it brings up the menu. And let's go back. I'm going to go save current configuration and watch. When we go back to, where is history? There we are. When we go back to Banjo and I push up, it's not doing it. If I push L2, it's not doing it. If I push L3 and L2, there's my menu. So it's a weird bug. Be aware of that if you're going to buy this controller, because it is something you want to know about. Otherwise, here is some Banjo. And first thing you want to test out, obviously, is make sure everything's working. So up on the D-pad, you have these usually change the camera. You have down on the D-pad, which does that. B, A. Everything looks like it's working perfectly. And then we have our actual Z buttons, which I've already mapped. So we can do some of the special functions in Banjo. Now, this isn't mapped out of the box. I'm going to show you in a second how to get to this point, but everything's working. Everything's perfect. Nothing's broken, and it all works. So what you want to do, head into the RetroArch in-game menu is what you want to go to. And you want to go over to controls. You want to go over to port 1 controls and make sure device type is controller, which it should be. Then you want to double check all of this. So on the left is the controls that we saw in the previous screen when we first set up this controller. And what you're doing is mapping to a Nintendo 64 controller. So over here, D-pad up. So what do we want D-pad up to be? Well, we want D-pad up to be down, up, down, left, right. So easy. Then we get to the B button. And when you click it, you're going to see options for an N64 controller, and you want the B button to be the B button, of course. A button, you want to be the A button, of course. If we continue on, X and Y, you do not want to have, so just make sure it's set to nothing. Continue on, select, also, you do not want to have because there was no select button on a Nintendo 64 controller. Start, you want to be for start, L shoulder to L shoulder, R shoulder to R shoulder. You want L2 to be nothing, or you could set it to Z trigger, which is actually what I'm going to be doing. That way you have two Z triggers. So you can have L2 and R2 as both Z triggers. Depends on what your preference is. If you only have one or want to have one, you can do that. L3 and R3 you want not mapped, of course. Then we have the left analogs, and you want to map these to the left stick. So this is up, down, left, and right. So just make sure you map those. And lastly, remember when we set up the right analog to be the C buttons? This is where you can set that up. So C button or right analog Y minus is up, then we go down, then we go left, then we go right. And you would just set it up like how I have it here. That way, when you're done, it's all set up properly. Now, what I would do when you're done here is just go to Manage Remap Files. And I've already done it, but you want to make sure it's a Save Game Content Directory Remap file. That way it saves it for when you're playing Nintendo 64 games. And that way you have it all pretty much set up. Now, if we head back into Banjo, again, I don't need to show you it again, but it's all mapped. And even the L2 is now set up as the Z trigger. So we have all those options. Let's jump into another game. Okay, and now we have Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is another game that benefits a lot from a controller like this. You can finally just use the arrow normally if you want to. You can push any of the arrows. You can throw bombs so easily. You can jump, all of this. This is a game that benefits a lot from these buttons on a proper N64 controller. And it's nice to see here. And you can just go ahead and play Nintendo 64. I have played a little bit, like I said last night, and I think this controller is a perfect fit for N64 games, which, I mean, obviously, because it is a Nintendo 64 controller, but it's just a perfect fit. It feels comfortable. It feels nice. There is a 36-hour battery in here or something along those lines. It's a massive battery. And this is only 60 Canadian. That's, what is that, 50 US, something like that. So it's a pretty cheap controller, all things considered. But yeah, I mean, all of this feels good. It feels like you're playing a Nintendo 64, like I did way when I was 30 years ago, except more modern, with a modern style controller. And this is exactly how I'll be playing Nintendo 64 going forward. I'm a big fan of this. But let's look at another use case in a second. Okay, so one of my favorite games, Super Smash Brothers, and I just wanted to test out, I love it. So the problem with other controllers is the C-pad buttons. When you're playing Smash, where you want to jump with them, because that's how I like to jump, it never felt good. This feels like how I remember as a kid, and I'm so happy here. This is great. And let's make sure everything works. Yep, we are fantastic. This is the experience that you want to have for Nintendo 64. It's just, it's so good. This is great. I don't know if there's any other use cases I can think of. We'll play Goldeneye. We'll try Goldeneye. I was playing a little bit of that yesterday. I have not played this since yesterday, and then also before that in a very long time. Isn't there like a guy in one of these? There he is. Yep. I don't have anything. Oops. This is going to be bad. I have forgotten how to play. Can I just blow that up? Yep. All right, there we go. We got a gun. What is it? A? Pretty sure it's A. There we are. Holy. All right. No comments on my game playing of Goldeneye, please, because it has been so very long. Yeah, this is how you want it to work, at least. Controls wise, it feels fine. What is it? Strafe? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, this feels good. This looks good. Yeah, no, controller wise, I mean, this is feeling good. I'm a big fan of this so far. This is easily one of the best ways to play Nintendo 64 in the modern age. Unless you want to grab, again, I have the N64 controller that you can get 8bitdo modded, but obviously you're going to need a actual N64 controller, and you have to rip out the internals, you have to put in the thing, all that fun stuff, and it will be about pretty much the same experience, except you don't need to do all of that with this. So this will be cheaper, mostly, than buying a whole controller and then the mod kit. This is a great value. So let's do one more test. We're going to put it on Bazzite and check how it looks there. Okay, so I'm here in Bazzite. I'm just going to push start on the controller to turn it on. Going to hold the pairing button. I had this paired, but I removed it just so I can show you. We see the lines are going crazy. Go over to Bluetooth. There's our 8bitdo 64BT. Now it should be ready. There we go. All right, and now I'm just going to jump into RetroArch. So let's check it out. Now, that menu toggle bug that I showed you before also happens on PC. It happens on every operating system, so you do want to be aware of that. Now, see, we have a problem right here. It's not in checking our controls. So we're going to go over to port 1. Going to go over here, change it to the 8bitdo 64BT. Now, it should be working. And you can see it's already mapped because that's what I did already before today. But I'm just going to quickly do this and then we'll come back. Okay, and now we're into Super Mario 64. And I just want to make sure that everything looks good, plays good. I beat this game, but I did not get all the stars, as you can see in the top right. So at some point, I'm going to have to come back to this. But everything is working. Everything looks good. This feels good. Can we do... I don't know. I'm bad at this. Yeah, we can do some wall jumps and stuff. Sure. That's my extent of knowing how to do things in Mario 64. That's why I only have 70 stars, because I'm not very good at this game, despite playing it for 30 years. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, this is exactly... Why did I go into the water level? This is exactly what you want from a Nintendo 64 controller. It feels great. This is the worst level to test out anything on. Yeah, no, this is good. Let's jump into one more game here. By one more game, I mean, let's try it on the Switch too. Now, you do have to update the firmware on the controller. Right now, it isn't recognized by the Ultimate software. So there is temp files that you can use to update this. I don't know how long this is going to last. I'll put it in the description in case you want to update. It's very easy. But for now, you have to use that. And then I'm sure at some point it'll be recognized by the Ultimate software and you can do it there. So we have to put it into S mode. And then let's go push start. We're going to push the pairing. Let's see if this works. This is my first time trying it. We'll see if it works. There we go. It's in pairing. Head over to change grip. And there we are. N64 controller. Hell yeah. Cool. All right, let's go over to, well, actually, what does work here? This is, yeah, that's that button. Can I wake it? Let's try. Let's try and see if it wakes. No, as expected, it doesn't have wake support. So that's unfortunate, but there's only one controller on the market that has that right now, and I did a review on it the other day. So not something that we can do anything about. So let's go over to the N64. All right, and 300 years later, we're back. So what does Z do? Oh yeah, okay, so Z turns like that. Okay, great. R2 still doesn't work. We have the spin, cool. We can bomb. Otherwise, yeah, this all works perfectly on Nintendo 64. Even if I forget all of the buttons, it seems like it works. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with this. It's a great controller. All right, that's probably how we should end off here. I have no notes on this. This feels great. This is a fantastic controller for Nintendo 64. I would not buy it for anything besides Nintendo 64, obviously, but works on, we've seen it work on PC, we've seen it work on Switch 2, we've seen it work on Android. Everything, as long as you map it properly in RetroArch, works properly. There's not much else to say here. They even, here, let's do, I didn't show this off earlier, but let's end off on this because I wanted to show this off and I forgot to. But all the Bazzite controls actually work on here as well. So if we pop right back into, what is it, D mode? D mode. If we pop back into D mode, oh, it's just instant. Nice. That's really cool. Okay, so if we pop into here, this is the Steam button. So it'll open up Steam on that side. If you do Steam plus A, it opens up this. And I don't know if Handheld Daemon will pop up because I'm using Bazzite. I don't remember what I have that mapped to. So that probably will not show up. Let me see what I have it mapped to. Because you could just map that. Where is it? Controller, Xbox or Y is disabled. It is set to Y, which we do not have. So if you put it to Xbox plus that should work now. There you go. So you get Handheld Daemon as well. So you could set up Handheld Daemon. You can set up, you have Steam. This is all out of the box except for Handheld Daemon, which I set up. You have access to everything here. Awesome. So yeah, no, this is a great controller. I think this is an easy recommend for me. Big fan of this. Just be aware of the issues I showed on RetroArch. Be aware of how you have to map this. all that fun stuff, but otherwise enjoy the controller. It's a really good one. I'm definitely going to be enjoying this. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming. Support me through YouTube membership if you want to see early videos and you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.